Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be what to do when you call a girl and she doesn't remember who you are or where you met. I've got a quick email here from a viewer, and he says, I have guy friends, some of them that I haven't seen for at least a month, mess with me when I text them and act like they don't know me. They have a, I don't know you, who are you response to every text. And obviously that's their way of communicating, hey dude, you haven't been around, I haven't heard from you, what's up? He says, even guys who I've only been friends with for a short time do this to me. They often end the text conversation with, I don't know you, goodbye. I confront them in person, they get a big smile on their face and admit they're messing with me. Or maybe they just don't like you and they don't like hanging out with you. I mean, either way, that's possible. Now he says, now women have started doing this to me. Most of these women I treat like they're messing with me. I identify myself, but in a cocky, funny way, and they admit they're messing with me just like the guys do. However, I had a couple of women who seriously didn't remember me or my number from a few months ago. How can I tell if women are messing with me or not, and how should I respond to these women I have an interest in? Well, first off, you shouldn't be waiting several months to contact a woman after you met her. I mean, if you meet a girl and you get her number and then you call her like 2 months later, I mean, what do you expect? And one of the things I teach in my book, which is a great low-risk way to determine whether or not a girl really has a high enough level of interest in you before you ask her out for a date, is when you get a girl's number and say you wait 3 days to call her. When you call her on the phone, say your name's Janet, and she picks up and you say, hey, Janet, this is Corey, how are you? And you just are silent. You wait for her response. Now, she's going to respond one of two ways. She's either going to go, hey, Corey, how are you? I was wondering when you were going to call. I thought maybe you lost my number or something. It's great to hear from you. Or she'll just say, hey, how are you? Great to hear from you. Or if you didn't make that big of an impact or an impression on her when you met her, she'll say, who? Where do I know you from? I mean, think about this. If you wanted to meet this girl out for drinks or maybe even take her out for dinner and spend some money on her, and you've been thinking about calling her and thinking what she's going to be like when you go out on a date with her, and then after only 3 days have gone by, you call her, and she doesn't even remember who you are, do you really want to go out with that girl and spend money on her and spend time with her? Because if you had to sit there and you say, oh, this is Corey Wayne, we met the other day at such and such place at 1 o'clock, I was wearing blue and you had a green dress on, or whatever the hell it happens to be. And she'll go, oh, okay, yeah, I remember you, how are you? I mean, that response versus a girl that goes, oh, hey, I was wondering when you were going to call, I thought maybe you lost my number. Which girl do you think is going to be more excited to see you and is going to work harder when you're on a date with? That's something to think about. It's really no contest. And so, like, when you're first starting out using the things that I teach, that's a good way to make sure that you're not completely blinded by your own high level of attraction or interest in a girl when you call her. And so that way, if you only go out with girls that are like, hey, it's great to hear from you, how are you? If they're excited when you call and they're glad that you called, when you go out on a date with them, they're going to work hard to keep the conversation going, to make sure they make a good impression on you because they want to make sure that you like them. But a girl who's like, huh? Who? Where do I know you from? Obviously, she didn't think very much of you and her interest wasn't that high on you. When she's forgotten you after only a couple of days of not hearing when you first met her. And so, I mean, you can go out with either girl, but I'm telling you, after you go out with enough women, you date enough women, you're going to realize that the ones that are excited that you called, it's going to be much easier and it's much more effortless when you're on a date with them because when the conversation starts to die, they're going to work to keep it going. Whereas a girl's kind of, she's not really that into it. She may still go out with you, but you're going to have to work a lot harder when you're on the date to keep the conversation going. And like me, I only like to go out with women who are really into me, who are expressing signs of interest. Because it's like, who wants to go out and waste your time with a chick, and especially even if you're only going to meet her for an hour? I mean, you're going to end up paying for a couple of drinks, and then you're going to sit there for an hour when the girl's not even really trying to make an effort at the conversation. You're thinking, shit, I would have had a much better time just sitting home watching TV or something, or going out with my buddies and wasting my time and my money hanging out with this chick that's just not even into it. So it's a good way, because a lot of guys do this, especially when they're starting out to learn these things, is they go out with a lot of women and they completely ignore the fact, or they don't even really care about the fact of whether or not the girl is really that into them. But when you go out on enough dates with enough different women, you realize that the ones that are excited you called are going to be a lot more fun to have a date with as opposed to somebody that you have to work. Now, you can still get these other girls to fall in love with you as long as their interest, like say on a scale of 1 to 10, they at least think of you as like a 5, which is kind of where a girl would tell her girlfriends, well, he's kind of cute, he's kind of nice, yeah, I guess I'd go out with him. By doing everything right, you can get them to fall in love with you slowly over time, and then their level of excitement will go up. But when you can go out with somebody and on the very first date, they're working hard to make sure that you like them and you're into them, it's why fucking bother? Why bother being the one that has to keep the conversation going or making all of the effort? That's just my personal standard and what I'm used to. But you can do whatever you want, but I'm just suggesting that. But that's why a girl will do that. But the other thing is you shouldn't be waiting several months to call a girl again. Like, you get a number, you should call her, ask her out for a date. And just the fact that you got her number several months ago, or you've kind of talked to her in between, and it takes you a couple of months to work up the nerve to ask her out, you've already lost in that situation because you didn't have the balls to be direct and go for what you want. Because guys that are busy, guys that are successful with women, when they get a number, they either make a date right on the spot or they call a girl a few days later after they get the number and they make a definite date. They don't wait several months to work up the nerve. And so you're not going to be very successful if you're waiting several months to call a girl after you get the number, or you get her number and you call her a few times and talk, but you never ask her out. Because the girl knows if you're asking for her number and then you call and just shoot the shit like a friend, she's going to think either, number one, A, you don't have the balls, or B, that you're only interested in friendship with her. And then they become friends with you, and then you spring the fact that you've been carrying around these feelings for several months. That just communicates ultimate weakness, and you're never going to be very successful with women if you keep doing that. So change your approach. So if you want to get if you have a question that you want to ask me, there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website and click the Contact Me tab, which is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen, and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max and give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which is going to be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. And if you don't have a Kindle device, on the download page on the right-hand side, there's a button that when you click it, it will open up a window so you can download one of their free e-reader apps for your smartphone, your tablet device, or your computer. Only takes a matter of seconds to download and install the app, and only a few more seconds to complete the purchase of my book, and you'll be reading it in no time. And I will talk to you soon.